Year, an estimated 300,000 horses are sold at auction to killer buyers to be slaughtered for human consumption. Since there's no demand for edible horse meat in this country, it is shipped to Japan, France, Mexico, and the vast majority to Belgium. You'll see all types: Arabian, thoroughbred horses, quarter horses, ponies, and draft horses, just to name a few. These clearly incompatible horses at a Virginia auction were packed onto a truck together for their journey to a slaughter plant. They are loaded alongside injured animals, horses with grotesquely swollen, bloody legs, horses from racetracks who have broken legs, who should have been euthanized immediately. A common misconception is that all horses who are destined for slaughter are old or sickly, but in reality, most are young and healthy. Some are discarded family pets, others are stolen, and an estimated 10% are race horses who didn't cut it on the track. It is apparent that so many had been companion animals, had been well cared for, and it seems especially sad that they would meet with such a violent end, sold at auction for 76 to 95 cents a pound, and their meat sold abroad for roughly $5 a pound. The horses are slaughtered in 9 states across the country. From auctions and directly from racetracks, horses are loaded onto double-decker cattle trucks for the grueling journey to the slaughter plant. They are given no food, water, or exercise, even for trips that last several days. Horses are packed onto trucks with no regard to size, gender, age, or temperament. Aggressive stallions are loaded with small foals and pregnant mares. Injured horses loaded with healthy horses. And they remain in this condition all the way to the plant. En route, many horses end up severely injured, if they survive at all. Some horses stagger off the trucks on 3 legs, horses covered with blood from cuts and abrasions they'd suffered, horses who appear to have been blinded by severe eye injuries. This horse was pulled out from the truck dead. His leg was broken almost completely off. Once they get to the plant, the terrified horses are supposed to be rendered unconscious by a pneumatic hammer or stun gun. But the Humane Society investigation repeatedly found horses that were still conscious. They believe some of the horses may still be conscious when they're hoisted and shackled and have their throats cut. The Humane Society of the United States is now working on federal legislation that would regulate the horse slaughter industry.
The entire transport industry has got to be overhauled. If you're going to transport horses across the country, it has to be done for limited hours with food and water available, with limited numbers and segregation that protects their interest.
David Wills expects it to be an uphill battle, one that will require public support.
In a world that still often abuses humans for mere entertainment and for mere profit, it's hard to make the case for animals, but we will not be a civilized society, and we will not really be fully human until we do that.
Existing conditions in the horse slaughter industry must be changed. At the Hart Ranch in Corona, California, these horses are unaware that they are waiting only for slaughter. There is no shelter from the sun, and they must fight over the feed. Typically, horses are bought at an auction, then rented out to rental strings to glean every possible chance of profit from these ill-fated creatures. This is a beautiful 8-year-old quarter horse bought for $1.08 a pound from an auction. Virtually every horse is injured or sick. Cuts and nicks are commonplace. All left to recover or more likely fester on their own. Forced to remain in these filthy pens, any open wound or sore is more than likely going to get worse. This animal suffers every moment from a giant abscess on the back hoof. An attempt of its removal is dangerous at best because of the likelihood that tendons would also most probably be damaged in the process. While most people believe the myth of black beauty to be the rule in the treatment of horses, reality paints a more obscene picture. Oozing strangles, infected sores, pain, hunger, and mistreatment. These are their companions now. This horse, now known as 289, has a huge tumor growing in her stomach. It's all about as far as you can get from a shiny, powerful stallion galloping along the misty beach at sunrise. To date, there is no legislation requiring owners to be notified of when their horses are sold to killer buyers for slaughter. Many are never aware of what happens to their animals after the auction. Jolene's horse rescue program essentially consists of buying these animals from the killers, restoring the horses to good health, and finding good homes for them. She takes horses other rescuers won't. Many times it's because the recovery costs are just too expensive, and sometimes just because a certain horse will follow her as she walks around the pen inspecting possible candidates. On this particular trip, Sundance is the latest rescue, a 10-year-old Palomino gelding. Sundance is then taken to the veterinarians for a thorough examination. Dr. Kent Sullivan and Jolene discuss Sundance's prognosis, giving him the individual and specific care each horse deserves. He examines all the open sores and wounds, meticulously evaluating each particular problem. The treatment for Sundance, as with so many others, will be expensive. Besides the open sores on the shoulders, there is a very large open lesion of fibroblastic sarcoid, a form of cancer on his left front leg. Dr. Sullivan will have to perform laser surgery. Even with surgery, the chances of it recurring are 20%. A great deal of work and support, financial and voluntary, is needed from a lot of interested, concerned people. Progress is slow but incredibly rewarding. Recently, Bill AB 49X was passed, which makes it illegal to trip horses at rodeos, more commonly known as charro rodeos. Also, it appears that the people of France are now eating less and less horse meat, due at least in part to the monumental efforts of animal activists such as Brigitte Bardot. Horses have been here for centuries. We need to give them their dignity back. We need to initiate change now, because it takes so very long to make a change into law. Meanwhile, every 2 minutes of every day, another horse is slaughtered for human consumption.